Hi guys, hi grade 5 students, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. I miss you all. Okay, in this video I'm going to start with a new lesson. It's unit 3, lesson 3 in your book. Its title is Patterns of Change. Okay, so in this video I'm going to introduce the big topic orally along with you. Introduce the new theme. I'm going to introduce the vocabulary words through context clues, read the words aloud and correctly, identify the genre of a new text, and introduce the new comprehension skills. So these are the objectives that I'm going to explain or to cover in this video. First of all, start with the new theme. If you notice here, the word pattern, the new concept is patterns. What do I mean when I say patterns? Look at the picture here. What do you see? If you notice something or on these pictures, let's read here. Though each thing in nature is unique, the repetition of shapes, colors, lines, and behaviors shows us that nature works in patterns. Okay, again, I repeat. Though each thing in nature, you see, in nature, okay, is unique, the repetition, I have repetition. This repetition causes what? Causes patterns. So I can define patterns as repetition of colors, lines, and behaviors. If you notice here on the ground, okay, I have the repetition of lines, colors. Okay, if you see the ways here in this picture, if you notice the repetition in the creatures, these are marine creatures. We mean marine creatures, we mean the creatures that live in the sea, underwater. Okay, if you see here the honeycomb, which is organized, a very beautiful color, and it has a very beautiful shape. If you notice that all the shapes are the same, so here we have pattern also. Okay, we have pattern. So guys, when we say pattern, we mean a design or a distinctive style or model. What is the essential question for this lesson? The essential question: where can you find patterns in nature? Where can you find patterns in nature? Think of it as answered by yourself. Okay, then now let's move to some examples about patterns. To start with, patterns are everywhere in nature. Okay, you have to keep this in your mind. Patterns are everywhere in nature. Okay, if you look at how the flight pattern of these birds in the pic, you see, or in the picture, sorry, the patterns, okay, and the movement of the waves or of the crashing waves mirror each other. They make like mirrors, okay? And if you notice how the birds are flying together, so they look the same, okay, as if they are organized in a high definition way, okay? And the waves, they make like mirrors because they are similar. They are exactly similar, okay? Some creatures make patterns in their habitats, as the spider does with its web. If you notice here, we all know that spiders, they weave their webs in a very distinctive model or way, and they take a lot of time weaving their webs. So if you notice that they have also what? Patterns. There are certain patterns, okay? Color patterns in some animals also, such as what? Zebras. If you notice here in zebras, we have stripes. Okay, we have black and white stripes. Okay, how does this pattern help them? The patterns, such as in zebras, offer protection through camouflage. Okay, while other patterns are just beautiful. In some other animals, I might see patterns, but they are not for protection. They are only for because they are beautiful and they give a beautiful shape, such as the feathers of the peacock. Also, peacock, okay, has a very beautiful feather, so it makes pattern also. Where else can you see patterns in nature? Ask yourself, where else you can see patterns in nature? Go back if you want to your background knowledge. If you want to go back to Google, you want to search where can we find a pattern or examples of pattern. It will be a great. Okay, so our lesson, our new theme, it will be about patterns themselves. Okay. Finished from the big topic or the theme. As usual, there are certain keywords in every lesson we have to know or study. Okay? There are 8 words. Let me read each word and read the sentence, and let's try to figure out the meaning of each word. The first one, contact. When I turned on the gas stove, the flame made a contact with the metal pot. Okay, you see, I turned on the gas stove, and what happened? The flame made a contact with the pot. Okay, so there was a contact, as if they touched each other. Okay, what happens when your hand comes into contact with something hot? When you contact something hot, your hand will be burned. Okay, so you remove it directly. So when there is a contact, there is a touch between two things. The second word, erode. When storms erode the beach, they carry sand away from the shore. Okay, when we have a big amount of water, okay, on the beach, what does the beach do? The beach waves or the waves touch the beach. They move to a high distance. Okay, and when they go back, what do? They erode with them some sand. They take with them, or they as if they wash away. And pay attention, if there are wastes on the beach, the water also will erode the waste into the deep ocean. So that's why we always say don't throw garbage on the beach. Why does the beach get smaller when storms erode it? Ask yourself this question. Why does the beach get smaller when storms erode it? Because the storm makes it go far, then go forth, then backward. Okay? The third word, formation. Okay? The marching band played in formation during halftime. If you notice, in this band in the picture, I don't have only one individual, I have several individuals. I have more than even 5 and 6. So they all of they together, they make a formation. They form the band. Okay, so formation is the act of forming. They form the band. The fourth word is moisture. Okay, don't you notice sometimes when it rains, you find small drops of water after it finishes raining, or it stops raining? There's still drops of water on the window. If you see here, there are certain drops of water on the leaf. This is moisture. Okay, I knew it had rained when I saw drops of moisture on the leaves. So when I find on the leaves in winter, I find drops of water, which is moisture, I notice or I figure out that it was raining. Fifth word is particles. Particles. What are particles? Particles, tiny particles of sand floated in the light, shining across the dunes. You see, if you notice, sometimes while sitting in the sunlight, you notice as if particles are flying in the air. Yes, these are particles in the air. So the particles are tiny parts or pieces, very, very small. The sixth word is repetition. What is repetition? I do exercise in a repetition of 10 and hope to increase it to 20. So this girl is making an exercise. What does she do? She does it for the first time as 10 times. Then she repeats it as 10 times. Okay. Then also she repeats it. Every time she repeats it, she hopes that she can increase it by 1 or 2 in order to reach the 20 number. So here there is an act of repetition. She repeats. The seventh word is structure. What is this girl doing, this kid? She's playing with the blocks and she's making maybe a building, so she's making a structure. Okay, she's building a structure. My little sister built a structure with blocks. The last word is visible. The boy's face was visible through the apartment window. Was visible. What can we do here in the picture? We can see him. That's right. So visible means it can be seen. Okay, so let's vocabulary bank. What do we have in the vocabulary bank? This vocabulary bank is also found in the vocabulary worksheet that will be also uploaded on the application with some exercises. Contact, what do we mean by contact? Again, touching or meeting of things. So you see, when we say contact, we mean two things that touched or met. Erode, erode, to wear or wash away very slowly. Okay? Formation, something that is made or formed. Moisture, a slight wetness caused by water or another liquid. Particles, very small bits or pieces. Repetition, saying or doing something over and over. Structure, an arrangement of parts that fit together. They make a structure at the end. Visible, can be seen. Simply, they are very easy and very beautiful words. Okay guys, now we finished from the vocabulary words. The exercises are on the worksheet. You will have time to solve them. Then after you solve the worksheet, I'm going to upload the solution for sure, and we're going to have a live meeting, so you can ask me any question you want and I can answer it. Now, before we start with the reading lesson, as usual, we have to identify the genre or get introduced to the genre. What is the genre or the type of the text? So I don't think that it's a new genre because you have taken it before. Informational text or expository text. I prefer to use expository text. When do we say that we have an expository text? When the topic explains when the text explains a topic with reasons and evidence. It gives reasons, evidence, facts, supports reasons and evidence with facts and examples and concrete details, and may include text features such as diagrams or timelines. So all of these, when they are found in a text, we say that the type of this text or the genre of this text is an expository text. It's very easy and very clear. Now, let's start with the reading lesson. Okay, I'm going to read the lesson for you once, and then you have to read it over and over, as we do usually. If there is any difficult word that you find a difficulty in understanding it, you can go to the dictionary, search for the word, and you can find its meaning. But I prefer to try to figure out its meaning from the sentences. Okay? So our lesson is about what? Let's see. Patterns of change. Rock solid. Solid as a rock is a saying often used to describe something that's reliable, that doesn't change. But in fact, rocks do change. The effects of water, wind, and temperature over long periods of time slowly transform one type of rock into another type of rock. These same forces also shape awe-inspiring landscapes and sketch designs on rock. So on rocks I find landscapes and designs. Okay, nature's patterns are visible in some rocks as small as pebbles and in wonders as vast as the Grand Canyon. The photograph across these pages, you see this photograph? This is the photograph that we're talking about. The photograph across these pages shows one example of nature's art. So these rocks, we call them nature art, okay? They are very beautiful. This structure of rock, known as the wave formation, is made of sandstone. It's sand turned to rock over a long period of time. So why do we call it sandstone? Because this sand was turned into rock, but how? Over long periods of time. After a long period of time, it changed or it's transformed by itself according to nature. Igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are one type of rock. They are formed from hot, liquid rock called magma. Magma exists far below the Earth's surface. but it sometimes escapes to the surface through cracks, such as the mouth of volcanoes. Then we call it lava. This molten rock or lava is composed of minerals. So as we always say that lava is, it's correct, it's right that it burns everything when the volcano first erupts, but when it cools down, it's very beneficial to the nature and the plants because it contains minerals. As the minerals, okay, now we reach this line. As the minerals slowly cool, they form crystals. Eventually, the once fiery liquid hardens into a solid substance. Okay? There are many kinds of igneous rocks. Their textures and colors come from their crystallized minerals. You may be familiar with granite, which feels rough and comes in many colors. If you notice here in the picture, this is the granite. It's a very beautiful stone and it comes in colors. Another variety of igneous rock is obsidian, which is smooth and often black. This rock is the obsidian. It's smooth, but its color is black. Rocks. Igneous rocks do not stay the same forever. Water and wind erode them, carrying away particles of broken rock and depositing them elsewhere. So when water comes down, or water and wind combine together, they erode some of these broken particles and they take them to another place. These particles may be left on a beach or riverbank. So when they are left on a beach or riverbank, or in a desert or the sea, gradually the particles collect in layers. So they start collecting in layers. They make layers. They make like levels above each other. The contact between the particles and the weight of the layers squeeze out any pockets of moisture or air. Pressed together, the particles form a new material called sedimentary rock. It is formed from many different sorts of sediment. It can include rocks and sand, as well as biological matter such as plants, bones, and shells. Just as there are different kinds of igneous rocks, there are different kinds of sedimentary rocks. Okay, sandstone is formed from sand. Limestone is composed of bones and shells. You see, this is the sandstone and this is the limestone. Rock formations. Over time, a layer can be created entirely of one kind of sedimentary rock. Geologists who study rocks call a layer made of the same material and at about the same time a stratum. Another stratum of a different kind can be deposited on top of the first one. The plural of a stratum is a strata. So here when we say strata, we mean more than one stratum. Many strata of different kinds of rock can accumulate. Each one will press down on those that come before it. Scientists learn a lot by studying the chronology of layers. The oldest layer will be at the bottom, the youngest at the top. These layers of sedimentary rock can create dazzling patterns, amazing patterns. Each layer will have its own texture and colors. Moreover, water and wind will continue to do their work. The rock cycle. Still, rocks continue to change. There is a third type of rock between the Earth's surface called metamorphic rock. These rocks are pressed down upon by the layers of rock above them. At the same time, they are heated by the magma beneath them. Eventually, the heat will cause some metamorphic rock to melt and become magma. As the magma slowly cools, it will turn back into igneous rock. The repetition of this process is called the rock cycle. The rock cycle is a pattern of change that repeats and continues. It transforms liquid rock into a solid substance. It builds cliffs from sand and bones, and it returns rock to liquid form. So you see here it makes a cycle, it also makes a pattern. So now if I ask you, what is this text talking about? I'm sure that you will say it talks about the types of rocks and how they make patterns in nature. Okay, so in brief, you gave me one sentence that talks about the whole text. So in this way, what did you do? You gave me the main idea of the text. When I ask you what it talks about or what this paragraph talks about in brief or in one sentence, you tell me what is the main point of this paragraph or of this text. Okay, for example, if we take the last paragraph or the last subtitle, what is this paragraph talking about? From the title, you will directly say it talks about the rock cycle and how rocks are formed following a certain pattern. You're correct. You're right. This is the main idea. This is the general idea of this paragraph. But if you go into details, you will find facts and examples and evidence. These facts, examples, and evidence, what do? They support the main idea that you gave me at the beginning. So, from main idea and supporting detail. If you remember that in writing, you always do writing, and we say that in each paragraph you have to start with a topic sentence which contains the main topic or the main idea of the paragraph, and in the supporting details I have to support it with examples, facts, and evidence. That's right, it's the same method, main idea and supporting details. Here in every text you have a main idea and you have supporting details. So what do we mean by main idea? Every story or paragraph has a main idea. The main idea tells you what the story is about. So the function of the main idea is to tell you what the story is about or the text. The main idea may be the lesson learned or moral of a story. If it's a story, sometimes the main idea of it is the moral lesson that we learn at the end. The main idea is the most important part of a story or a paragraph. So you see, the main idea is the most important part in the text. Main idea is like the heart of the text or a paragraph. So you see here, they compare the main idea to the heart. It's the controlling idea. It's the idea that controls the whole text or paragraph, which I cannot, for example, I started talking about football and the main idea is about football. I cannot change it and move in the middle of the paragraph to basketball. No, because the heart of the paragraph is football. The main point or the controlling idea, the idea that controls the whole paragraph is football. As here in our text, the main idea or the controlling idea or the heart of the text is about rocks and patterns. All the other supporting details in the text or within a paragraph should tell us more about the main idea. Supporting details. The supporting details are the things that describe the main idea. So the supporting details, they describe the main idea, they support it, they talk about it. These supporting details make the main idea stronger. How can I support my main idea? How can I make it stronger? By the supporting details. For example, read the passage and choose the main idea. Niagara Falls is one of the most beautiful sights in North America. It is on the Niagara River, halfway between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Niagara Falls is located on the American and Canadian border. The American Falls is 167 feet high. On the Canadian side, the Horseshoe Falls is 161 feet high. So ask yourself here, what is the main idea? What is the controlling idea? What is the heart of this paragraph? What answer you will get? For sure, the answer will be main idea is Niagara Falls is one of the most beautiful sites in North America. We're talking about Niagara Falls, which is one of the main sites or the most beautiful sites in North America. Okay, guys. So our comprehension skill for this lesson is main idea and key details or supporting details. In other words, I can say most texts have an overall main idea, and they should have an overall main idea. I cannot write any paragraph or any text without having a main idea, because in this way I will get confused as a writer or author. I will get confused what to write about, and the reader will get confused what is he reading about. This is what the writer most wants you to know about a topic. To find the main idea, identify key details. Then decide what all the key details have in common. Okay? So guys, in brief, In this video, we introduced a new theme, which is about the patterns in nature, okay? And we said that patterns are designs or distinctive styles or models. We started with the vocabulary words, new vocabulary words. You have a vocabulary worksheet also to solve it. Then we move to the lesson. You have to read, please read the lesson carefully. Try to understand it. It's very easy. There is nothing complicated about it. And also don't forget the main idea and key details, the comprehension skill. Also, there are certain questions that you must solve them. So guys, in order not to get confused, I made the both worksheets in one worksheet. It is uploaded on the application as a PDF. You can solve the questions in it. Then later we'll have a live session, and the live session will talk about the lesson more and more. If you have any questions, you can ask me about anything you want, and we're going to solve some questions, because later we're going to have an online quiz and you are supposed to solve it. Okay guys, hope that everything was clear. Hope that you are understanding everything, and please guys, solve the questions. Love you all. Bye bye.